Here with head volleyball coach Tim Koth, ready to begin his 8th year. Just finished your 7th there in the spring, so we're right back into it. I guess we'll put a bow on the 2021 season before we talk about the 21 fall season. Challenging on many levels for so many people, but it was nice to get some games in, right?
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect right now, really what it was for Wayne State was kind of an extended spring season that was played a little bit more like real matches. It was very, very difficult, very challenging for pretty much everybody across the board. For us especially, you know, with the change in the dynamics, with us practicing at the time we were, you know, our practice schedule was all over the place. It just created a lot of challenges, which hopefully will help us grow and mature as individuals. Sometimes you have to go through adversities to get stronger from them, and that's really the way we're gonna kind of approach that. We did get opportunities for some people to expand their roles and basically learn while playing matches that counted. So hopefully we'll gain some benefits from that, but also hopefully we never have to do anything like that again in the future, and that we get to continue to move on towards what's more normal for us and what we expect to be.
Yeah, the roster's pretty much unchanged there at the upperclassmen level. Taylor Wagner, Lauren Vanderwall, Cameron Duffield, and then you have some ladies that performed well at times, Jenna Cray and Maddie Morrison, and then there's a few other girls that you look to for offensive production. But at the top of the roster, you got to be excited about what you see.
Yeah, I'm excited about those players. I think some of their individual performances last year, they had moments of brilliance and they had moments that were kind of questionable, but I think that just kind of went with the territory. But collectively, those are experienced players who have won at the highest level in our region, and that's what I expect out of them coming into the fall. So wins and losses from the past season probably not indicative of the team and the roster. Certainly our preparation will be completely different and more normal going into this fall. So yeah, we're very excited about the amount of players that we have returning, what they've done in the past, and hopefully what they've taken from the good, the bad, and the indifferent that we've gone through. That will hopefully for fall 21 make them better players.
We'll talk a little bit about maybe some of the girls that the fans will maybe be introduced to this year, not necessarily newcomers, but somebody like Chloe Clark, who I know you're high on, and Sam Palazzola. Hallie Shell had a great year last year, defensively especially. Talk about maybe that next group of girls that are ready to kind of announce their presence on the court.
Yeah, so Hallie is a great example of kind of how last year went. She was looking, you know, to try to find a niche last year, and then because of the way things ended up, she kind of ended up being a starter, full-time starter. Got the opportunity to expand that role, and really the very last match that we played was outstanding, and that's what we really hope she progresses to. If she plays like that this coming fall, she's going to be outstanding. I think Jenna was a true freshman, the other middle spot that started for us last year. Fans got to maybe see her on video. We only got to see her once in person, but she's a dynamic, outstanding player, and we really are looking forward to things for her to have a normal preseason and just really see what she can bring. Dynamic offensive player, still improving her strength. Actually talked to her last night. She told me I could get tickets to the $100 gun show. So we're hoping that I hope she's really improved her strength, which is one of the factors that she needed and we were kind of limited on as far as how much we could do for her last year. So I'm really excited for our fans to see her. And Chloe just has always been an extremely gifted athlete, and I'm hoping that you know, that as she continues to gain volleyball savvy, we'll continue to see that blossoming that I think there's potential for her to be there from the players who are on the roster, maybe expanding some roles and have opportunities to do some more things for us this fall.
And a name, I mentioned Cameron Duffield, but your other captain, Julia Malowitz, name that is familiar with Wayne State volleyball fans, has been around for a little bit, but she's seen her role kind of evolve from when she got here as kind of that athletic hitter to more of a team leader and a facilitator.
Yeah, I would agree that that's a role that she's in. You know, purely trying to help steady out the serve reception, We'd really like to see an expanded role, though, offensively from her out of the back row, because we're not looking at her as a purely defensive player. So creating an additional option for her in her role as an offensive player, and really kind of putting that in as not just an emergency play, but something that's incorporated into the offense. I think that just adds another dynamic. And she's a very explosive player, and she's had some great offensive matches for us in the past, and so we want to continue to do that. But her strength is truly in that leadership role and that voice and that energy and the ability to steady the passing and do some things for us out of the backcourt.
And we'll touch quickly on your other captain, Cameron Duffield. This will be, I think, year 4 of her being kind of the quarterback of the offense there on that side of the net. She's definitely had her times where she's been one of the better setters in the league and in the region. Obviously, that will need to continue for you guys to be successful.
Yeah, I think so. I think this past season for her, the winter season was a bit of a challenge too. Not to anything related to her effort or her desire. She laid everything out on the floor for us every single minute that she could, but our inconsistencies created inconsistencies in her play. And I know that she's worked extremely hard over the summer to make sure that she's taking care of what she has control over, which is optimizing her physicality and making sure she's prepared to be the best that she can be. And the best that she can be is as good as any setter that's in the region, for sure. And we're going to need that from her to really run that show for us. We have some experienced players returning, but we have some younger players that are going to be involved and some new players. And she's going to have to be the one that kind of runs that ship. And I think, like you mentioned, year 4, which is surprising to say that, but in year 4, she's going to be ready to do that, and we're expecting big things from her.
Yeah, she's moving up the all-time assist. I think she's 6th all-time in program history in assist. Now, 6 newcomers, 7th if you count Rachel Malinowski, who redshirted last year, who can be an impact player. But talk about that group of 6 and 7. There's 4 incoming freshmen, 2 transfers, and then Malinowski, who transferred in before last year. That group, it's a bigger group than you've kind of had in the past of maybe a new incomer. So it could be building the roster with that group looking forward too.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a product of the environment. Yeah. You know, we had some players that, you know, for their other reasons, you know, looked to return closer to home and some things like that. So we have 2 transfers coming in that we expect to impact us potentially in different ways. Lex, we think has a chance to come in and compete to start for us. Mm-hmm. She'll have to earn that on the floor, but I think she has the tools to do that. And then Kat, I think, really adds some depth and some chemistry and some intensity to the roster. She was at the University of Louisville competing with the rowing program there. So 6 a.m. workouts and things like that we never do with volleyball here at Wayne State. She's got some discipline there, and I think that's going to be something that'll be nice that she brings to us. The incoming freshmen, we're really anticipating all of them to have great long careers for us, and we think that they're going to be initially players who add depth to the current roster and develop into players who could have the potential to be elite. You know, Shay and Mia at the setter spot, you know, obviously they're behind Cam right now, but they have the opportunity to grow and develop and really hone their skills to become elite setters. You know, and then Keelan and Ella had elite club programs. They could impact right away. You know, they're going to have to compete with returning veterans for their spots, but they're both tall, lean, physical athletes who have great experience from their club programs. You know, and they could come in and they could impact the roster right away. I know they're going to be really big at the pins, so we'll see how that impacts as we get into the gym. But a lot of dynamics for potentially now, but you know, definitely down the road for sure.